Before Death Row Records became the most powerful label in rap history, Suge Knight was a former bodyguard and football player trying to break into the industry. He didn't know how to finesse it on the legal side, so instead, he used violence and fear to create a rap empire. And today, we're breaking down the wild story of when he allegedly dangled Vanilla Ice off of a hotel balcony and came out with $4 million in his pockets. Let's get right into it. Vanilla Ice eventually became the first rapper to ever hit #1 on the Billboard charts, but he didn't start out rhyming. He came up as a breakdancer in Dallas and Miami, which is when his homies named him Vanilla because he was the only white dude in the crew. When he was a teenager, Vanilla Ice started battle rapping at parties, and everyone was calling him MC Vanilla. But when he joined the new breakdancing crew, his stage name became Vanilla Ice. According to Ice, he wrote the track Ice Ice Baby when he was 16, but back then, he was more focused on racing motocross than making it in the music industry. He was actually a great racer and won 3 championships, but everything changed when he crashed during a race and broke his ankle. While he was healing up, Ice went back to beatboxing and writing rhymes. One night, he went to a nightclub in Dallas called City Lights, and his homie Squirrel dared him to get on stage for the open mic. The crowd loved Ice off the jump. He was so popular that the club manager asked him to come back all the time, and Ice opened up for legendary artists like NWA, Public Enemy, 2 Live Crew, and more. He spent a couple of years performing sets at City Lights, but in 1987, he was stabbed 5 times during a fight outside the club and had to spend 10 days in the hospital. That's when the owner of the club, Tommy Kwan, decided to sign him to his management company and started paying for Ice's studio time. Ice had been writing and performing tracks at the club, but didn't have anything recorded yet. The first single they put out was a cover of Play That Funky Music with Ice Ice Baby on the B-side. Kwan tried pushing Play That Funky Music to radio stations all over the country, but nobody was rocking with the track. Most DJs refused to play it, and the ones who spun the track didn't really like it. But everything changed when a DJ from Georgia played Ice Ice Baby instead of the single. When Ice Ice Baby played for the first time, it sparked a huge wave of other stations playing the track. It blew up at a wild pace, and Ice claims that at one point, it was selling 1 million copies a day. Tommy Kwan dropped AK on the video for the track, which made it blow up even more. Overnight, Ice had gone from a club performer in Texas to one of the hottest new artists in the world. He started spending time in LA working on new deals and celebrating success, but that's when he ran into Suge Knight and everything changed. These days, everyone knows Suge Knight was like the rap game's boogeyman, but when Ice met him for the first time, he didn't have any idea what was happening. Back then, Suge was just getting into the music industry after being a bodyguard for artists like Bobby Brown. Hanging with Brown showed Suge that all the money in the music game came from owning masters and getting points off publishing, so he started his own publishing company and started looking for artists to sign. One night, Ice was eating at a restaurant in LA with his bodyguards when Suge and his crew walked in. Ice says he was on edge immediately because Suge and the dudes he rode with were even bigger than his security guards. And when Suge came in, he saw Ice's security out of the way and sat down at the table. Ice says Suge just stared him down for a while, then introduced himself and said, "How you doing?" Nothing serious went down that night, but over the next few months, Suge would pop up wherever Ice was and do the same thing. Ice was already scared because he had no idea how Suge always knew where he was, but that was nothing compared to what happened next. One night, Ice was staying in a suite on the 15th floor of the Bel Age Hotel in LA, but when he got to his room, Suge and his goons were already there. Ice told ABC News back in '96 that Suge and his crew put hands on Ice's entourage and roughed everyone up. Then Suge took him out to the balcony and made him look over the edge to see how high up they were. Ever since it went down, rumors have been flying that Suge actually dangled Ice off the balcony, but everybody involved in the situation says it never happened. Ice says Suge brought a huge stack of paperwork for him to sign, which would hand over royalties from Ice Ice Baby. Back then, Suge was managing a dude named Mario Johnson. According to Suge, Johnson's the one who wrote the track, but Ice never paid him what they were owed. There are a lot of stories about what went down when Suge confronted Ice in the hotel room, but at the end of the day, the only thing ever confirmed was that Ice did sign over the royalties to Suge and Johnson, which ended up being worth around $4 million. In his interview with ABC, Ice said he was very scared during the situation. Knight says it was all business, but everyone knows just how brutal he was back then. Suge was only able to sign Dr. Dre to Death Row because he threatened Eazy-E and Jerry Heller with baseball bats, and after Death Row blew up, he got even more violent. 2 years after he shook down Vanilla Ice, Suge pistol whipped 2 rappers who used the phone at Death Row without asking them. George and Linwood Stanley were 2 brothers trying to make it in the game, and Suge forced them to take their clothes off at gunpoint before pistol whipping both of them. There's also an infamous story where Suge took a Death Row employee into the bathroom and made him get naked in front of a bunch of people. Then Suge made everyone pee in a bucket and forced the employee to drink it. Death Row Records became the most powerful label in the game, but it was a nightmare behind closed doors. There are a ton of stories where Suge would take employees into locked rooms and beat them. Everyone else would have to keep working while hearing their coworkers screaming for help. And if Suge was willing to treat his own employees like that, there's no telling what really went down that night in Vanilla Ice's hotel room. What's wild about the situation is that without Vanilla Ice and Ice Ice Baby, Death Row might have never existed. Suge took the money he stole from Ice to create the label, and the rest is history. He would end up signing Dre, Snoop Dogg, and Tupac to create the most stacked label in the history of the game. Death Row ran the West Coast in the 90s, and it all started with Ice Ice Baby. Back in June, Mario Johnson went on The Art of Dialogue and aired out his side of the story. According to him, Ice didn't write a single word of Ice Ice Baby. Mario says they linked up back when Ice was performing at City Lights in Dallas, and Tommy Quan convinced Mario to work with him. Mario says he wrote the track, and Ice didn't even like it, but he recorded it anyway just to see how it performed. Everyone has always said that the situation in the hotel room was about getting paid for Ice Ice Baby, but Mario says that's not how it went down. He says that after the track blew up, he was hired to write 9 songs for Ice's debut album, and Ice was supposed to pick 5 of them. But according to Mario, Ice took all 9 songs and didn't credit Mario on any of them, and that's why Suge pressed him in LA. After the interview dropped, Ice clapped back with a strange response on Twitter and said, "Suge Knight garbage. Now put your fanny pack on and dancing shoes and let's kick it," at TMZ. Suge is sitting in prison right now for killing a dude with his truck back in 2015, so Ice knows he can take shots at him and not worry about Suge pulling up. Nobody really knows exactly what went down that night, and everyone involved tells different versions that keep on changing. One thing's for sure though, Suge Knight was able to scare Ice so badly that he lost out on $4 million at the height of his career. Suge won't be eligible for parole until 2034 and will be an old man at that point, but Vanilla Ice might want to hire extra security just in case.